In the book of Daniel, we see this mysterious vision where thrones are set up, and the Ancient One took his throne. A surging stream of fire flowed out from where he sat. It's a vision in the Old Testament by the prophet Daniel. And this is a vision of God dwelling with Israel and even the church today, and how he is perfectly holy. As they approached him, he purified the people of God from their sins to make them holy, often with punishments and chastisements. As Augustine mentions in one of his works on free choice, he says, this would happen unjustly if free will were given not only for living rightly, but also for sinning. In the book of Malachi, it mentions he will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. The focal point of this passage is God is unmovable and holy. He's unchangeable, and he changes us and makes us holy. He purifies us to sanctify us for our salvation. And this is how the church understands the sacraments. They sanctify us and conform us to Christ to change us to live in a holy way like him. They sanctify us and conform us to Christ to change us to live in a holy manner. We don't come to church to change Christ, but rather he sits as a refining fire to sanctify his holy church. But I want to get back to this vision to help us see how it is a prophetic vision of the ascension of our Lord into glory. For the prophet Daniel goes on, and he sees one like a son of man coming on the clouds of heaven. When he reached the Ancient One and was presented before him, he received dominion, glory, and kingship. Nations and peoples of every language serve him. And here we are, thousands of years later, serving him in the new eternal covenant. For this passage becomes fully realized by the apostles when it states in Acts, as they were looking on, he was lifted up, and a cloud took him out of their sight. And since that day, we as Christians are always looking for the day when Christ will return in the same way. And this is why we seek and wait for the return of Christ, primarily in how we live today and worship in the church. For in a spiritual sense, Christ's full return is at our death. And this is why we read today, stand erect and raise your heads, because your redemption is at hand. As a church, we are always looking toward and preparing for that day when we will come face to face with God.